Start recording. Okay, so where we were last time is we were looking at some we were looking at disassembly and such, and we pretty much finished that. We decided the right way to structure our multi-string structure so that it balanced creation time for usage performance. And so today we were going to jump back to doing mouse control, which we were sort of focusing on when we decided that we really don't want to write 2 copies of every single method in this class, so we'd rather do the multi-string thing. So what we were looking at previously was the fact that in the draw system we lay out these menu options in a particular way, and they have a certain size and all of that jazz. And what we want to do is know the layout in the update system and be able to figure out where the mouse is hovering during the update. Now, one of the things about this is, like, we want mouse control. That's sort of the thing that we're going for, and that's why we want to know the update. So we could tackle this in like in all at once, basically, by getting the layout code and chopping it up into UI system and doing it that way. However, I have been thinking about this, and I think it's more of a write the usage code first situation. And so, we want to know what layout stuff we actually need. Maybe we don't need all of it. Maybe we want it in a particular format. Like, do we want to be able to query it? Do we want a list? That sort of thing. So rather than doing it in one pass, I think it's better to do it in 2 passes and essentially write the usage code first. So what I think we should do is, rather than doing mouse control initially, item, and then knowing the exact layout of this box and being able to do it from that. I think what we should do is actually ignore the layout for now and just fake it enough to get it working, because we can easily determine, based on the font height, this size here. So rather than making a small area, the mouse area for each item, we just make the entire Y direction determine which item we're hovering over and go from there. So that's the plan. Any thoughts on that so far?
No, other than we kind of half started last time with trying to bring current index into UI update. Should we clean that up first, or? Because I feel like I don't actually recall really what we were doing, because I've got a hover index and
it's not being used.
Current index.
So I don't check if current index is actually being used, because I don't even have current index.
Yeah, it's not. It's grayed out in my fancy thing, so okay. I'm assuming I can just destroy it.
Let's
but it's the
yank current index and hover index, because I don't think anyone's using them. And I think that is actually it. Like, if we open up everything and update.
Yeah, that's actually pretty trivial. Yeah, I'm already cleaned. We're good.
Sweet. So, let's start by trying to figure out which item we're hovered over, and highlighting that in some way. So that's the plan, and I'm going to now hand it over to you to sort of figure out where we should start making changes.
Okay. Okay. So the interesting part, I know the reason that we started down that road was because the UI is not the UI update is not tracking where it is, whereas the draw is. So I mean, probably like the easiest thing to do is probably to do it in UI draw. Um, but it's not probably a good practice, and it's gonna have to be moved eventually anyway. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I guess like because
Like
I mean I'm
if
looking at the current index. Like I want to know
yeah.
which. Like, I want to test each item. Obviously, like I want to go through each. When you said write the usage code, um, not 100% sure how that applies, but I know that when we start the update, we're going to want to go through each item in the update system and decide whether the mouse is over it. But then obviously we want to draw the effect of that by changing something like a highlight color or
Well,
whatever.
why don't we start by just drawing a highlight color on an item, so we have the output. So that's probably
Okay.
start from
Yeah.
that end
Then
of the chain.
then UI draws the easier, most obvious
Well,
place
yeah.
to
So
do that.
we are going to have to draw the highlight somewhere, and
Yeah.
that's going to be in the drawing system. So let's do that.
Right. Right. So we have three versions. Okay, I remember three versions of draw item.
Well, we've got two in this thing. It's not ideal.
Oh, right. I remember we were going to fix that at some point. We made a note to fix it, but the to do didn't get to doed.
That's all right.
Oh, that's fine.
We'll worry about that later.
Mm-hmm. Apple. Hello.
Every time.
Right. So, yeah. Okay. So that one calls that one, and this one calls that one. But both of them call
Well, all of them seem to
label.
call label.
Yep.
So it's a little bit messy because label takes a multi-string, and so these should all probably be it should probably be flipped around so that label calls draw item rather than the other way around. But we'll leave it
Yeah.
as is for now, just to keep life
All right.
simple.
So here I am. I draw the thing, and then I say, and then I go to the next index. So here's our line spacing. So we have everything that we need right now. And in fact, we're already drawing this. We're already drawing the aqua over that smaller box,
Mm-hmm.
the more perfecter box. So now I guess the easiest thing to do would be we have the position. We have, we have int mouse waiting for us here in mouse position as a vector. So maybe we want to take that and look at the y index and say, okay, position of this vector and this vector. So I guess if the position y is less than the mouse position y. I think this is client coordinates. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say one thing that you could potentially do, and that is you could use rectangle and just use contains if you were wanting to skip writing the four test conclusion box.
Cool.
But I mean,
right.
It's up to you. You can write that test if you like.
No, I'm good. The rectangle is somewhere. I don't have to construct it, do I?
Yes. So we would have to make it, because last time we decided not to make it because we could just use the position, which is floating point for whatever reason.
Okay. Well, we actually don't care about the x because we're only doing the y, so maybe I'll just start it at the edge. And then...
Well, I mean, if we're not going to care about the x here, which is as we were saying, that's fair. This code is going to get deleted very quickly, so let's just quickly do the if mouse position dot y is less than.
Okay, fair.
What is it?
Less than position y.
Y. Well, it should actually be plus size size dot y. What is it? Size is down.
Why are you including size?
Well, we need to know. Well, actually,
Right.
what we want.
The bottom edge.
Line spacing, actually.
Yeah, the bottom edge.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're trying to and a floating point variable and a integer?
Whoops. This is a plus.
Yep.
I think mine's different than yours. That's okay.
That seems pretty good.
You renamed yours sprite badge to
SB. Yeah, you use it so much. It's clearly the sprite badge. You may as well just if the whole thing there's no point in drawing two highlights, Just
yep. Yoink.
So let's give that a go and see if it does what we want.
For me, SB is like Spring Builder.
Yeah. I'd use both.
That does what we want.
That does what we want. So next the question is going to be, can we do that in update? Because we're going to want to click on the selected item.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can't get away from the fact that we need to track the index of which one we are at the time. I mean, yeah, and we're not going to change state in UI draw, so we're going to need to pull the.
Well, okay, actually, let's jump back one step. So there is one thing.
Hover index.
Exactly. So what I was going to say is let's public in hover index equals I don't know, like 7 or 6 or something, and then down here maybe we want to highlight whatever hover index is.
Yeah, that's what I think is what we want to do.
So that would be, I mean, I'll let you do the coding for that, but it should be fairly straightforward.
Oh, you just want to example it. Okay.
I was just saying, just set it and we'll worry about the actual value later. Let's actually just do the drawing side.
Sure. Although it's pretty, I mean, it's just this code here essentially, or this bit, but yeah. Oh well, we're a UI system thing, Bob. We're not UI system. We're UI draw.
So we have access to the read-only update over here.
We do?
Yeah. So update.
Oh, we do. Oh, I didn't.
So that's how we're that's how we're working out what has focus.
Yeah, that reminds me of something. I wonder what it is. Oh well. I'm joking. River City, we did this exact thing.
Oh yeah.
Hover. Oh yeah, the UI update. Gonna make it public, I guess.
Oh yes, of course.
Or internal or whatever. Or internal's fine.
Made it public.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Yeah, I once you start trying to make things internal, then it's like you got to think about accesses. Like, nah, it can be public.
All right, fair enough. I'll make mine public. Okay, so that should do it. Nothing to it.
So I should find the 6th index is 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so.
I think I made mine 4, so
that looks good.
Mine's
cool.
Okay.
All right.
And just change the hover index to reflect.
So now is when we have to go over to update and keep hover index updated based on the mouse position.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to do it in. I mean, kind of want to do it in and somehow, but I don't think I can.
Well,
Yeah.
doing it in end is not unreasonable.
Although, if I do it in end, I'm gonna have to traverse all the items that I already have. Like, we have this collection of items.
Yep.
And it seems like I don't really have a tick method, so it seems like I kind of have to fake it in end for now. Let me just see here. Not, I am messing with items. No, I'm not messing with items. I'm only reading from it in here, so it doesn't matter where I put this.
That makes sense. So.
So mouse position. So I do need the position I'm in. Where am I? That's the thing. I'm nowhere. I still need current index. I mean, how am I going to get away from that?
Well,
I guess the current index is just going to be the indexer into the for loop. So.
Okay.
Hold on a sec here. I mean, this is ugly as heck, but whatever. Okay, for each, or no, for I 0 I less than I. Whoops. So, I don't know the snippet for this one.
It's
I only know the reverse one.
4. It's as simple as 4. Double tap. And you got it.
Double tap. Okay. I know 4R, but that's it.
Yeah.
Now I know both.
Yeah, that's a handy one.
Alright, so first things first, gotta get the, whoa! First things first, I gotta get the, trying to say, the item I'm in. Item is equal to items I. This is just a hash though, it's not even a string. So, okay. So in order to get the position, yeah. I'm just trying to...
Keep going.
I don't have a font and line spacing for it.
Well, that's a bit frustrating. We could give it the font, because that's, like, as long as it doesn't draw with it, that's actually okay. Because that would be something like data. UI update.
Right.
Where are we generating UI draw? Oh god, we're
making a new one on every tick.
To do garbage. Whoops.
I'm surprised we did that.
Well, that's why you have to profile this sort of thing and sort of be careful, because otherwise they slip in.
Right.
It's the, the downside of C#. That's fine. We'll leave that for now.
Okay. Well, we want to give. Don't we have the font like already, like ambiently in the class above us? So we
actually,
can
do we have it ambiently? I mean, it's not static, but we could easily make it public static.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done it once. We've done it twice. Easy.
Wait, where's your other one that you did it once? Oh, you did it on Sprite font and white pixel. Oh, I just forgot the snark on mine.
All right.
All right.
Easy peasy.
Screw it.
Don't have to change any of that code.
All right. So this is user interface game.font line spacing. Okay, and then if the mouse position is a match, then we're going to say the what? We want to set the hover index to I. Oops. And maybe we clear this with -1 or something at the beginning here, and then set it and then make sure I'm not initializing it to something silly here, and then down in draw. It doesn't matter in draw. It's already doing an equality check for the index, so I think that's it.
All right. Let me just read your code.
Oh yeah, sorry. Where did I go
end,
here?
Update end.
UI system update end. Yeah. Okay. I didn't actually need the.
Okay. So yeah, it's basically that, and then that, and oh, I'm missing position. Oh, I see. I'm in the wrong scope. Why is that not working? There we go. All right. So and then hover. This equals I. All right. So I mean.
Oh, one thing I don't know if this is even worth it. You'll probably tell me it's not, but maybe we break out of the loop when we find an index. Stop iterating.
Oh, we could. Why not? Why not? I mean, we'll save. Save some cycles. May as well. One thing we can do is we can pop mouse position and line spacing. We can hoist them.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right. Maybe the compiler would have known to do that, but why trust particularly seeing as at least that one is a property. So.
Right. Okay. All right. I'm good with what we have now.
Okay.
Let's try it.
Let's give it a go. See what it does.
Oh, I think we got it at the same time. Look at that. I only needed a dangerously expensive computer to get near the latency of your Windows 7 machine.
Well, that's good. I mean, so let's just start from the top and scroll down real slow.
Yeah, it's not quite there. The blah is not highlighting, and neither is exit.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I think it's because I'm only thinking about straight indexes of items, whereas these aren't items. I'm not sure actually, to be honest. There's these spaces, and these spaces are not items.
Exactly. So menu, the spaces, they're all labels. They're not items, and you can't focus them. So this items array is a list of things you can actually select. And so focus index is where do we actually use that? Yeah, so we've actually got focus, whereas focus index is, in fact.
Do we need it? Oh yeah, we do.
Oh yeah, because we fill it during the update. Hover index we may actually not need. Like we may want to have public value
hover hash.
Or like do we need it at all? Why not just set focus directly, for example, potentially? I mean, let's.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like this is just highlight. Well, it depends on the use case because sometimes you want to highlight it without selecting it. Well, in order to change the index.
Yeah, let's just stick with hovering for now because we have to work out how it'll actually work. But so we'll stick with hovering for now and not mix the systems. But yeah, so this hover index is indexing like. In here, it's indexing into items, but in draw, it's indexing into everything.
Okay, so is there? I wonder if we have a way to filter that at this level or not. I don't know if we do. So focus is items focus index. So this. Huh. Yeah, things to focus on. Items. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of trying to remember how this works. Well, like label does nothing, and that's sort of what we've got there. We've got empty labels that are being nothinged. And so we need to be able to skip over them. Well, actually, we need to be able to include them. Maybe we can throw a static hash value into the item bag that represents that nothing?
A static value into the item
Like,
bag. Oh, right,
like,
right. Yeah, I got you.
like whatever the 0 or whatever I don't know, some sentinel that says meh, and then we would have as many items as there were labels. So then I'm starting to feel like starting to not make sense too much, but
Well, that's
that'll
not a ridiculous suggestion, but you should look at this code. Like, think about what that's going to do to this code here.
yeah, it means you're gonna start navigating through the pockets of nothing.
Yeah, and so
It
then
kills.
you'd have to skip.
Well,
You'll have to skip the sentinel value as you scroll through, which could get quite complicated coding wise up here.
yeah, I like the simplicity of the fact that our items is only tracking the human interactive pieces, so
Yes.
I don't think I want to burn that with fire yet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so okay, so let me rethink this. So I've only got items. Oh, it's just that I don't know how many times I've done this. And I don't know where I've done this. And if I don't know where I've done that, I can't really adjust the position to match the fact that we've since crossed a label without doing some kind of tracking.
Well, we can actually scroll through, and it's like, well, there's label, and there's item, and then checkbox calls item, and then slider calls item, and that's it. So those are the only 4 things we actually have, because we nicely simplify these all to multi-string.
Oh yeah, no. What I mean is like I don't know where we are in the usage code, how many times we've called labels, so I can't adjust the position to match where I'm sitting, like where that focus item is. I feel like I need more data.
Well, I think you're right. I think we do need more data. So
maybe we just start tracking the maybe we start sliding the position around.
We need to track in some way. Yeah, position is a thing we could track. I would suggest. I guess we could track it in that way. So let's do that.
Well, I mean, maybe we want a method that they all call. Well, no, because this one calls item. It's hard to remember which one's nest, which, like, checkbox is the only one that calls item. I guess this one doesn't.
Oh yeah.
This one doesn't.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is a first cut, so we can always make it better.
Yeah.
All right, so. Well, we're in vectors here, so we're in floats, I guess.
Okay.
Track of y for now. And then.
Although I would suggest. One thought is we probably should start transitioning to tracking integers on the basis that we're wanting to do this on a network system that's like non-floating point.
True. Although I also am not sure if this even makes sense, because this tracking value is only a single value, whereas where I'm iterating through the items, that's not going to tell me any more information than I already have. Like,
well, what information would you need here? In like we've already got code that does something that's almost right. So what would you need to change in this loop here?
What I need is to know basically like if on a sentinel, like, or a blank line or whatever, or just say if like label happen, like how many times I don't know, sorry,
That's
label
right.
count, or just not even like position y plus is equal to label count times line spacing. I basically want to know how many times we've hit a label up until this I position in the item bag. So if it was like label, item, I be on item 3, but I would have seen 2 labels since now. So I need to be.
Let's do that. I'm gonna give you a little code adjustment because we're already multiplying by line spacing. So I plus label count.
Oh yeah.
Equals. So let's try that, and let's just code that up and see what it looks like.
All right. Okay, couldn't be. It's pretty easy. I'm just gonna increment the label count, and then I'm gonna zero it out at the end.
I'd suggest in the beginning because that's where we're doing all the clearing.
Good point. I mean, that's it, really.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Do I need to know that? Like, if it's like label item would be 1, label item, label. Yeah, okay, let's just try it and see how bad it is.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Well, you can
it's
sort
because
of see what's happened.
Yeah, it's all of the labels instead of just the labels thus far. It's like I'm 3 off. I'm 3 off where I'm supposed to be, and there's three labels in the entire thing. There's 2 blanks and main menu.
Yeah. So down the bottom, aside from this fact that we've actually got a problem here as well, you can tell like once you've finished this, you've added up all 3 labels. So
yeah. So I'm no longer. Yeah, I'm no longer. I don't know if I can put this in the end anymore without getting kind of silly with the amount of state I'm like I don't want to track a list of positions probably.
Well, I mean, let me put it to you that over here label count should be 1, and then we skip over this blank line. So over here label count should be 2, and then we skip over this blank line, and then over here label count should be 3. So the label count for each item is different. Yeah. So we have multiple label counts, not just this one here.
Yeah, I didn't want to do something like a dictionary, but but we do have, we do have an index, like we're at each I the label count is potentially a different number.
Yeah. Well, we could store that.
Fine. I just feel like this is awful though. Like I'm storing the results of incrementing an integer. That seems bad.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just feel sturdy because I've already I'm counting it more than once, etc. Also, I have to now. If I'm gonna do this, it looks like I'm gonna need to know what index I'm at when I call the label. Oh no, I'm not. I just have to add it. No, yeah. So I have to add what the previous last value was plus 1. Like, it's gross.
Well,
it is.
What we have here, to a certain extent, how many items are in this array? Like, is this 1 per? So, yeah, how many? I guess items. How many entries are there in this list? Is it parallel to items, or is there 1 for every line? Because we've got 2 things here. We've got items and we've got lines.
Yeah, it's definitely 1. It's probably 1 for every item because it's only going to be tracking it at the we only care we only consult this at the item level. Okay. Like, how many labels have you seen before coming to this index in the item?
So one way we can do this, we can do it this way, or we can do it whatever. This is not actually a thing. Tuple. Yeah. We need value tuple, which I don't have. So I should upgrade at some point. But suffice to say,
Oh, it's only references.
we could do it that way, but you'll have seen like a whole lot on, for example, River City. For performance reasons, we did the struct of arrays thing. So these are parallel arrays of data, or lists in this case, that have the same number of items.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to just pack another integer into the value 128 and make it like...
Oh, no, because our code for hashing stuff, that's something that we might want to like use. It's like a leaf code. It's like it's self-contained. Mm-hmm. So it's prime for reuse. So if we start putting sort of what would you call it?
No, yeah, I know. I wouldn't have meant making another data type just for this, but that doesn't.
We could make an item, but this will do for now. Yes, another struct, but this will do for now. This is fine. So every time we add to items, we need to add to label counts. Is basically the thing to keep the number of items in sync. So adding something in conclusion, adding something in label is not going to be correct.
It's still kind of jank, but okay.
Well, you say that. I think it's quite simple and elegant, actually.
Well, when we add something to label counts, we have to add how many labels we've seen so far. So we need some kind of... we still need a label counting, like a incrementing. Like we still need like int labels.
Labels so far.
Sure. Labels seen, labels so far. Why not? And then we still need to increment that in here. Plus, and then we add labels so far.
This seems pretty reasonable to me.
We don't want to clear this until end because reasons. Because we want labels so far, so we need to keep it all the way through. It needs to just get bigger. So end, we still need to zap labels.
Well, I've cleared it in begin just to...
begin. I keep doing that.
Although I feel like because we keep doing that, we could just yank begin and do everything in end and these initializers, but we can think about that later.
I think when we do networking, it matters.
Although, it's possible. One reason that we might want to leave it like this, although, no, yeah, we could actually do it in such a way it's like you would always clear it at the end.
I just gotta make sure that that items. There's only one. No, right here too. Yeah, I would make this a method, but I know that you wouldn't. But that's okay.
Well, it's happened twice. Like if it happened like 6 times, or if there was like 11 things to do in here, then maybe you'd make it a method. But for 2 things. Like you'd probably structure these.
I think making it a method makes it impossible to screw it up from the
Like this is the sort of thing you can get in you can do with comments.
Okay.
Because you can imagine like if you think about the sort of bug that will be introduced if someone gets this wrong, like it gets used twice, so there's 2 instances and there's 2 calls to make, and if someone gets it wrong, like it's going to be real easy to find and fix.
True.
Whereas if it gets bigger, then you're right. So that's the trade-off there. So all we have to do now.
Clear the items.
Nearly forgot that.
Clear the items. Focus index label so far. Increment the label. Access the label count by index. Same indexes were in item because we've aligned them properly. And I think we are good.
That looks pretty good to me.
it's starting to drift as so it's good. Yeah, I see. It's like, okay, here's one label. So now we're one behind. It's enough by one thing. And now we're two behind.
Okay.
Now
So
we're three behind. So
can you, like, what you've got is almost good. So can you spot the bug here? Because I mean the bug is not internal to this code. It's somewhere between here and the drawing code. So
it's not the drawing code. Oh, what am I missing? Hit a label so far as one, hit another leg, and then so like it's gonna be one for the first item. Position is I plus labels count.
well, one thing we can do here to make things easier is this is why we were clearing this in begin. I remember now, and the reason why these are public. So what we can do is over in main menu. That's right. What we were doing was we can just go UI.label UI.date.hover index. So we can actually just print out what it is, more or less, and we can actually see it changing. So try that on your side, and that might give you a clearer picture about what's going on too. So it's UI update because you want specifically the update.
I have access to. I do now.
Yeah.
All right. So it's already wrong. Labels so far is way off.
What makes you say that?
Hover index looks good actually. So label, well, just because it's always 4 still somehow.
Well, it's the counter that we're incrementing all the way through.
So yeah, right. So that's not actually useful information to me.
Yeah, I mean we could print out label counts UI.
We don't have
hover index. I mean, is this what you're going for?
That's what I was going for. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can do that quite trivially.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want the label counts at that position. Set them public. Index is out of range. Oh, right, but only if it's not -1. Okay, so 0 and 1. Yeah, hover index is right. labels so far. Label count is right. This 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 is right. Okay, all the math is right. It's the drawing bit that's wrong. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the actual numbers coming out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just drawing the wrong result. Okay, so here we are. Aqua. If the hover index is equal to the current index.
Mm.
What is the current? The current index is actually is not an item index, it's a line index, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because, yeah. Okay, so that means we have to do this. Oh, we have to just account for our labels so far, I guess. Which is going to be a little bit harder to do because the draw has access to update read only. Right. I have to derive the current. Wait a minute. We're in label. We'll never be hovering over a label.
Well, okay, because of the weirder way that draw works, which maybe we should fix at some point.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this might be the right time to fix that. I don't know if we have time to do it. Right?
We'll shift that till tomorrow, but or next time.
Anyway, excuse me. I burp in public. All right, so yeah, so I need this index to be correct. So what do I have again? UI update or update read only. I've got focus. No, hover index. Oh, that's one we're checking now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what if we do if update read only hover index is greater than -1 and update read only hover index plus update read only labels so far is equal to the current index, do the draw. Because this is basically the same debug logic we had, except we're saying the hover index plus the label so far, because that would be the line index at this point, not just the hover index. So I think that'll do it. Nope, it's terrible.
Well, so recall we were only just drawing this value. And recall that we drew the wrong value the first time, so we've made the same error in this case.
Made the same error in this case. Got a question for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter that much, but I went greater than -1 and you went greater than or equal to 0. Is there a substantial difference between those from a readability, or is it instructions?
I have a vague notion. Oh, okay, yeah. So if you do -1, it may actually need to go and encode -1, which is like well, it'll probably be 32 bits because it's a 32-bit value. So it's going to take 32 bits to encode -1, whereas greater than 0, most of the things, both IL and x86, have a shorter encoding for 0, like for comparing with 0. So by doing greater than equal to 0, you're not encoding -1. So you're saving bytes in the instruction stream. But also it's just
more readable.
I think I find it more readable because I started doing it for that reason. So Yeah, it is the reason I do it most of the time these days is just habit, basically.
Okay.
The other reason, like readability wise, is like I don't know, it kind of feels a bit weird when people write like not equals -1, like that. It's like, I'd prefer the logic to come out with the positive case, like this is what we want rather than what we don't want.
Right, because that makes sense. Since it's signed, you've coded a future bug by not considering other negative values.
That too. So, yeah, that it's like whatever. But that's why I do it that way habitually.
Awesome. Yeah. Despite my clever vamping, I have no. I'm just trying to.
Well, I'm gonna.
I mean, it's just a math error, right? It's just.
I'm gonna speed this along slightly because we're just about out of time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do this true view thing, and I'm gonna scroll up to the code we literally just wrote because that's gonna basically.
Oh, derp. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, it's fine. I get it. I'm stupid. That's the same mistake I just made too. Yeah, that's what I actually want is the labels up to the index. So, fun times. Okay. Labels. No, label counts. I don't know why that auto completed like that. Okay. That's the thing. That's the intent. Yay!
Is that working how we expect it? Excellent.
Well, let's see.
That was pretty good.
It is.
That seems pretty good to me.
Yeah.
So there's one other thing that I want to consider here. And that is now we have two different ways of doing the same thing. In one case, we're basically indexing by lines.
Yeah.
Which is this one. We're going for the current index, which is the current line. In fact, maybe seeing as we've hit that problem, we'll go up here and be like current line and just global rename that in draw just to keep our sanity. So over here we're figuring out the current line. Whereas over when we're actually drawing items, we're doing a different thing to get data over from update read only context, and that is we're looking at focus equals a particular ID. So that might be a different way we can approach this, particularly seeing as we've written this in such a way, particularly on the update side, that we can't hover over labels, which is fine. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, sometimes maybe you do want to hover over a label. I mean, that is kind of one of those use casey type things. I suppose it makes a lot of sense to say, well, you can't hover over anything that you can't take an action on from a mouse point of view.
Yes.
But it doesn't. It's not necessarily true for everything. The developer wants some kind of funky thing in there, so it might not be the worst thing in the world to harmonize and just like fill sentinel values in and have both systems looking at lines versus items. But we like our item bag, thank you very much. So I'm not exactly sure which one is worth changing.
Well, so the consideration is basically, and this is going to come into the move actual drawing to a different method. So what we could consider is, do we want to make this code here look more like this code here?
Oh.
So what we were saying before when we were like doing that, is that a thing we wanted to consider? So that does depend on reordering this code here, though, the draw item, so I'm going to add that here. And consider changing the index to hash and item hash. And so we only want to consider this, whether or not that's a good idea. And that's because obviously the whole reason we're doing the hashing for the focus item is we want this to be maintained across frames, whereas the thing that we're hovering over, we're refreshing that every single frame.
Yeah, the network doesn't care about that.
Exactly. So it does, like, that does lead to some interesting questions that we haven't really answered about, what do we actually want to happen in like a network case? Like, do we want people over the network to actually be able to see the hover value? And if so, like, obviously, are we going to side channel this, or are we going to do it in the other way where we're sending fake directional inputs, for example? So that's an interesting case that we might want to think about. But I think we will at least consider it after we've done the sort of inversion of this code here. So we'll suck this out into a different method, and these ones as well. So it sort of, we don't have this sort of conversion all over the place of label to from string to multi-string back to string and so on.
Okay.
All right, so I think we will wrap it up there, and we'll come back to it next time, and we'll look at doing this switching around, and we'll look at different ways of doing the hover index to see what works well. All right.